what's going on. I'm trying to edit the stupid title because it's not going to be pumpkin rolls today, but I cannot figure it out. So I'm just going to have to do it later. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Because, yeah, I'm having issues. What's new? Happy Halloween, though. Got some news that I will go over once I can confirm that y'all can hear me. So many pumpkin rolls. I don't understand. I don't think I can edit it while I'm live, though. So I'll have to do it later. Okay, so sounds good. Good. It worked the first time. The problem is I forgot that I had taken my mic down because I'd been rearranging my room, and I have like this microphone stand thing, like this arm, and it was getting in the way. So I just took it off the desk. So I didn't realize before going live that it was still on the floor, unhooked up. So that's why I stopped it abruptly. Then when I went to go live again, I noticed that it still said Pumpkin Roll Failure as a title. And I cannot for the life of me figure out how to change that. I know there's an option to do it before you go live, but for some reason it's either not coming up or I don't know what I'm doing. Or a combination of both. I don't really know. The title was going to be a lot more specific to what I would be talking about today. Because as you can see, there is... Where's my finger? Everything's mirrored, but whatever. There's a cage over here. And there's a reason there's a cage over there. Because I went to the shelter yesterday. And I can hear her somewhere. But we have another little friend around here. I just got her yesterday, so she's still getting used to everything. Blue absolutely hates her. She just looks at the kitten and starts hissing immediately. And the kitten is not phased in any way, which is not really great because that just pisses Blue off even more that she's hissing and growling at this thing, and it's just looking at her like, okay, don't care. And she's like still wants to she wants to play with Blue, but Blue's not interested right now. So I'm hoping that won't be for long because I really got another cat for her. I mean, I don't mind having another cat. It's nice having two cats in some ways, but in a lot of ways, it's double the work. And I'm lazy, so, it is what it is. But the problem is with Momo being gone, Blue has just been very bored. And, I try to play with her as much as I can, but it's not the same. And, I work, so, she'll be bothering me while I'm at work because I work from home. And she needs a friend, another friend. I wanted to wait a couple months before getting another cat. Number one, to make sure I'm ready. Number two, to make sure that whatever phase Blue was in wasn't a phase. Like, if it's just the fact that she's getting used to Momo not being there, I wanted to give her time to, adjust. If that's all it was, she just needed time. But it really is just the fact that she needs another friend. At least that's what I think. We'll see if that ends up being the case. The good thing is this kitten is very active. Like, it's even more active than Blue is. And Blue is a fairly active cat. So if they eventually do get along, she'll have a really good playmate. The new kitten loves climbing and jumping, and she's very fast. She's some kind of tabby. She looks actually fairly similar to Momo. And I didn't really see it when I was there. My dad pointed it out. to me, the face is very different. Like, the markings and the coloration of her is similar to Momo because she's like a brown tabby. But Momo had a lot of white, like down like half of her face and then down the body. This cat doesn't have any of that. She's pure, just the brown tabby colors. And her face is fairly different, at least to me. The new kitten is called Misha. It's from Supernatural. I'm a very big fan of Supernatural, and my favorite character is called Castiel. His real name is Misha, and technically, you know, he's a dude, but to me, it does sound very feminine, and I really like the name, because I had it in my mind that her name, or the cat's name, was either going to be Castiel or Misha. So yeah. The shelter gave her the name of Cadence, and I do like the name Cadence, so I'm going to keep it as like her middle name. So it'll be Misha Cadence. So she gets in trouble, I can give both names to her, like my grandmother used to do to me. That's when you know you're in deep crap, is when both names are used. Eventually she should come back. I don't know. She doesn't really respond yet to when I call her. She doesn't really know her name or anything. I don't think she was at the shelter for very long. This was a new shelter I went to. But she just gotten fixed yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Not that that seems to have any effect on her. She's still running around and doing probably a lot of things that she shouldn't. But yeah, I like the name Misha. I think it's cute. But she's a very sweet cat. Very affectionate. I don't know if she'll cuddle. She's a little too active for that right now. But it could also just be her getting used to not being in a cage. Because at the shelter, it's a type of shelter they're mainly caged. There was one cat that was out in the open, but it was like an older cat that kind of just is probably like the shelter cat. The last shelter that I used to actually volunteer at had one of those that was like a free roaming cat, but they actually had a free roaming room, and she was in it. The sun is like, I don't like it. It's like right in my face. If she doesn't come out during the duration of this video, I'll try to go get her. She's pretty tiny, so she could be any number of places. She was in here for quite a while, but then she wasn't. I've been trying to keep the cats fairly separate, which Blue doesn't seem to mind. She likes being separate. She doesn't really, like I said, want anything to do with her. She just hisses at her and stuff. Luckily, Blue, knock on wood, so far hasn't been aggressive to where she will attack the cat or anything. She mainly just avoids and tries to fend her off by hissing and growling at her, which doesn't seem to work. So she's mainly been avoiding her. It's kind of making me nervous, though. I'm going to see if I can kind of find her because, yeah. Oh, there you are. Hi, Blue. They were having a staring contest. But yeah, I have to get rid of this window because there's a delay. She could see she's very jumpy. Probably because she wants to run around. But that's her. But you could see, like, by her back, like, she has a lot of the similar markings that Blue had. But the face is different. And the eye color is different. Her tail is... Don't claw on my chair. Oh my god, this cat. Seriously? Here's a close-up. You can see her tail is like a little bit shorter than a normal cat. I think from what I read online, she's called a pixie bobcat or something like that. I don't know. But the overall look of the cat that is and her are very similar. But as far as her paperwork, they just said she's a tabby. But with it being a shelter, they're not going to really know a whole lot about the breed information, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, I will get her DNA tested like I did with Blue. Because I think it's cool to see the type of breeds that they're similar to and da-da-da-da-da. Plus, it's really the only way to have any idea of what a shelter cat or like anything like that's not like bred, to know like what kind of breeds they are if it's not obvious. Like Blue has a lot of different breeds, but mainly she's Maine Coon and Ragdoll, which you can kind of tell by looking at her, especially the Ragdoll. She looks very much like a Ragdoll. But anyway, so that's the new kitten. She's usually not that hyper, but I think it's just because she was in the cage at night. So she's just trying to get rid of her energy from, being cooped up. She was good, though. She didn't, like, cry or, anything like that. So that's good. I was kind of worried about that. But I feel like her being in the shelter, she's probably used to being in a cage. So, like, the cage behind me is huge. It's actually for a dog. But, obviously you could put whatever fits in there. So she has plenty of room. I don't want her being out and about when I can't really kind of monitor what's going on. And with Blue being kind of a bitch, I don't want them getting into a fight, especially since the kitten just got fixed a couple days ago. She's still healing from that. Anyway, I didn't really have too much of agenda as usual, but I kind of want to just give another update. So if you haven't watched the last Mix and Vixens episode, which I think I'm going to ask the girls if it's okay to retitle it to make it more obvious. But Mix and Vixens is no more. Our last episode was last week. It was a mutual decision. We just decided it was time for a lot of different reasons. There had been a lot of, I don't want to say issues, but a lot of challenges during the duration of the show that you may or may not have been aware of. And it was just becoming to the point where it was just time to cut it. So I may be more active on my, this channel again. We'll see. For me, a big reason why I was kind of glad the show was ending is because with all my tasting issues, because I'm still having issues tasting flavors as far as vape related. In real life, unfortunately, I taste everything fine, which, can be bad in some instances. But vape-wise, I'm losing more and more flavors. If it started with lemon, then I went to strawberry, then I was having issues tasting watermelon. Like, a lot of the fruits I'm losing. So it's hard to make flavors, like, recipes like that, especially when they're random recipes that are picked by other people. So I pretty much have to mix whatever it is. Like, I don't have the luxury of saying, okay, well, I can't taste strawberry, so I'm not going to mix something that has strawberry in it. So it just makes it very difficult. I'm almost hoping that maybe with not having to mix so often, like different flavors and stuff, that maybe my situation will get better. But it's like kind of a small hope because it's been years and it just seems to get worse. So I'm kind of just at the point where it's like, it is what it is. I may start dabbling more into tobaccos again because I haven't really messed with tobaccos in a while. And at least if you have muting with that, it doesn't seem to be as bad as if you have muting with like fruits. So I might start doing that. I do have a recipe to share today because I did start working on the month ahead for Mix and Vixens ahead of time. So I do have a recipe that I actually like from when I started. So I'm going to share that. It's a oatmeal cookie with some kind of butterscotch or caramel drizzled on top. I didn't really nail the drizzle part because in working with the oatmeal cookie, I found that it's very hard to get the oatmeal spices to be good and then have like an additional flavor with it because it kind of ends up blending into the spices. Because like I tried to do like a butterscotch drizzle, another type of drizzle, I don't remember, I think it was caramel, and it just blends too much into the spice note of the cookie. But it did end up being a good oatmeal cookie, at least in my opinion, and they're kind of difficult to do. So I figured I would share that. And then if someone can figure out how to put drizzle on it, if that's what they want, they can do that. At least that's one less thing they have to worry about. But yeah, I'm going to share that. Might as well do that now. There is a flavor that is fairly kind of hard to get, but you can sub it. It's not really an essential part of the mix. And the other flavors are pretty easy to get for most people, at least in the US. I can't vouch for other places. It's only 4 flavors. So that's good anyway. Now, as usual, you guys will probably need to increase the percentages on this. But I did 0.75 TFA oatmeal cookie. I like the flavor of this one, like the spice notes in it are nice. But I found that I wanted a little bit more brown sugar and a little bit more body. So I added the oats and cream cookie by Wonder Flavors at 0.5%. And then this is the optional flavor that's kind of hard to get. You can sub it with whatever cookie you want. It just adds a little bit more body to it, and it also helps tame down the spice notes in the other flavors a little bit. But it's sugar cookie by Real Flavors at 1%. You could sub it with Capella sugar cookie. It will change the density a little bit because Capella sugar cookie is a little bit more full. But I mean, flavor wise, it should be just fine. You could use probably the new Flavor Art vanilla cookie at 0.5 to 1%. It really just needed another cookie in it, like a kind of blander cookie, like any kind of sugar cookie type thing. Even the Wonder Flavor sugar cookie might work if you like that flavor. I don't have a lot of experience with that flavor, so I didn't want to recommend it. But you might be able to do that, or maybe even their shortbread cookie. It just needs like a vanilla-ish type cookie to round it out a little bit. And then I added Vape Train Sweet Cream at 0.5% just to, again, with the body. Because the thing about the oatmeal cookie by TFA, I feel like it's a good flavor. Some people like it, some people don't. What it lacks is body. It's very thin. Wayne had tried to actually do oatmeal cookie a couple weeks ago on one of his live mixing shows, and he had the same issue with the body. He also didn't like the flavor, but that either could be a personal thing or because of how high he used it, because he used it fairly high. So that might be why. Because there was a few years ago that I had used it, and I don't remember what percentage I had used it at. But I didn't like TFA oatmeal cookie either. And I kind of wrote it off as just a bad flavor until Jennifer Jarvis mentioned that she liked the cookie or that flavor and used it in one of her recipes. So I wanted to use it in that recipe. So I bought it, and I figured if she likes it, I might like it because our profiles and tastes and stuff are fairly similar. And it turns out that I actually did like the flavor. So it was either a bad batch I had gotten originally, the equipment I was using, or just maybe the percentage was a little bit off. But I find it to be a good flavor. It needs help. A blueberry would work in the oatmeal cookie? I guess. Last I checked, I think you can still get the sugar cookie flavor at DIY Vapor Supply, because that's where I got my last batch from. I tried to kind of stock up on it. And then there may have been one place in Canada that sold it or sells it, whatever. It sucks because I had just found that flavor when, like, right before they stopped, like, producing. It's like, why couldn't I have found you sooner? Because it's a really good flavor. Like, I'm not a huge Real Flavors fan, to be honest, but they do have some really good flavors. Yeah, they still have sugar cookie at DIY Vapor Supply. Actually, might make another order. So they still have a good amount of Real Flavors there if you are in the States or they ship to you. I like this vendor. They're not like my favorite only because they're a little bit pricier and their shipping is a little pricey, because I don't think they have like any kind of special as far as if you buy a certain amount, shipping is free type thing. But they do have a really wide selection of different not vendor, well, is it vendor? Like brands, I guess. So that's nice. And I do buy there from time to time if Bull City doesn't have it. Pretty much Bull City is number one that I go to. That was before Vixens or any kind of affiliation with that. They just are pretty inexpensive. Like, they're the cheaper of a lot of different places. The selection is good. The customer service is good. I think there was maybe one time where an order was wrong or something. Maybe. I'm not even 100% on that. And they fixed it right away. There was no issues, nothing. They ship super quickly, even with them being so far away. So, yeah. DIY Vapor Supply also does ship quickly. Generally, the last time I ordered from them, go figure, the only time I needed them to ship quickly, they didn't. I don't know what was going on with them at the time, but it took a lot longer than usual. Plus, like, everyone that I haven't talked to, like, a whole lot of them from, like, BCF, but they are, like, super nice. Jen knows them a lot better than I do. But, I don't know. There's good people to work with. But yeah, I'll place the link to this recipe, this oatmeal cookie, in chat. All my recipes are going to be on ELR, like, from now on. Like, as a me thing, they're going to be on ELR. I think all the flavors has definitely improved since the new people have taken over. I started with ELR. I'm used to it. I just prefer it. Even it has its issues too. But, like, all of, like, my recipes are mainly on ELR anyway. So, yeah, that's where I'll be if you see me anywhere. But this recipe is really nice. It reminds me a lot of, like, because it is brown sugar heavy, which I personally wanted. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. I want to say it might be coming from the oats and cream cookie from Wonder Flavors. But it reminds me of like the brown sugar oatmeal, which is like one of my favorite. Well, it used to be before Quaker Oats changed their formula or recipe or whatever you want to call it. Um, it's one of my favorite oatmeal like flavorings or whatever. Like at first, like number one would be the strawberries and cream, the old formula, and then brown sugar would probably be second. I also like the apple too. The apple was good, apple cinnamon one. But it reminds me of that because it's like got the oat flavor and like a little bit of the spices, and then it has like a pretty prominent brown sugar note. So, yeah, that's my oatmeal cookie. Oh, private. Surrey. It'll be a minute and then it should work. Ooh. Yeah, I probably should do that too. I did move most of my recipes, like the good ones, over to all the flavors. So some of them are there. But I definitely probably should make sure that, like, the important ones are saved in a different way. I want to say there's a way to import them into all the flavors, but I'm not entirely sure. Did anyone pick up anything from Armageddon MFG closing? If they're the ones that like do the mechs, then I didn't know. I don't like mechs. Oh, I guess they're a vaping supply company. Oh, they do have stuff like other. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them at all. I don't know what VCC is, so I have no idea. The only places I've used to store recipes is ELR and all the flavors. That's it. And way back in the day, juiced me up. I don't know. I'm a creature of habit. I don't like change, which is bad. I know I should be more adaptable, but I don't know. I'm getting better. I'm starting slowly doing things. But anyway, getting back to like my channel. I want to be more active, but I don't want to do single flavor testing anymore. At least until like my taste buds are more normal. I don't feel comfortable rating a flavor or giving opinions on a flavor when I know that there's something wrong with my taste buds. And I know flavor and taste and all that is subjective, but there's a difference from it being subjective to like just from person to person to being subjective because there's something wrong with my taste buds. So I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I don't think it's helpful because not everyone is going to have like these issues that I have. So I may do single flavor testing every now and then, depending on what it is, but I don't know. It's not going to be like my normal thing. I kind of want to move away from that. Problem is I don't really know what to move to. I know at one point I was doing like paranormal stuff, but the problem with that is it's just a weird format to do alone, in my opinion. It reads as like some kind of report, like I'm doing a book report or an oral report, and it's weird to me. And I think I've covered most of like the main paranormal, supernatural type things, and I don't even know how many people are interested in that. So don't really want to go that route either. So I don't know. I'm kind of having to think about it. So we'll see. I don't want to keep coming on here and just giving updates on things because I just think that's weird. It's like, I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to figure things out. I don't do anything like that, James, because I personally don't like CBD. And I have a feeling that if it isn't already, it's going to be one of those issues where it's going to get regulated too. As far as like YouTube and censoring and stuff like that. Because like vaping stuff is already kind of blacklisted, I feel like. So I don't know. I just don't think CBD would be something, number one, that would be very YouTube friendly. And number two, it's not something I use. So, yeah. I have a lot of issues. And I've talked about it here and there, but essentially, how do I put this? I don't want to say I'm straight edge, but almost. Like, I don't like taking any kind of medication. Like, I'll take like stuff for like colds or like a headache or something like that. But as far as prescription medication, I don't like it. Like, I know I'm depressed and I have anxiety, but I don't want to take anything for those. The short of the long is that many years ago, I had really bad reactions to a couple of different prescription medications, and it really messed me up. And ever since then, I've been very reluctant to do anything. Trying anything that makes me feel weird triggers anxiety and panic attacks for me. It's one of the reasons I can't do. How do I even put this? I don't even know of a friendly word to put it. The green stuff. I can't do that anymore ever since my panic attacks started. It just triggers one. I used to not even be able to drink alcohol to any degree. I can do that now, but I still don't really enjoy it. So anything like that, I did try CBD because it's supposed to be good for anxiety and stuff like that. It's not as bad as other things, but I still don't really enjoy it. So yeah, that's not something I can do. I tried the Delta stuff, and that I had a really bad reaction to that. So like none of like that realm is gonna be something that I can do, unfortunately. Yeah, the reaction I had was ironically enough from birth control. And my gyno at the time made me feel like I was insane for thinking that's why I was having the issues I was having. But come to find out, it was actually a huge deal. If you Google it, it's called Yaz, Y-A-Z. Just Google Yaz and panic attacks. And there were like a whole forum of women that had this same exact reaction that I had. Never had a panic attack before or anything like that, and they started taking the stuff, and within a week or so, they were having a panic attack. Some of them, like literally, it was like I was reading my own experience, and it's crazy, and it just shows that like I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these things that we put into our body, we have no idea what they're doing, and I just rather not. But yeah, ever since then, and then ironically enough, I was also trying to, because I had, like I said, depression. I was trying to go back onto an antidepressant within the same time period, which probably wasn't a good idea, but I honestly didn't think that it would be an issue because they're like two entirely different things. And probably for most people, they aren't an issue. But I also had a really bad reaction to that thing, and it was called Prestique. So yeah, just, I don't know. So I don't take anything. But yeah, I wish I could just like do something to relax every now and then, but there's nothing. So I just kind of have to deal with it. My anxiety, probably for the last year, had been really, really bad. And I think a lot of it had to do with Momo because her being sick was affecting me a lot more than I thought, like on the surface. And it just was taking a toll. So, anyway, bottom line is I don't really know what's going on with this channel. I thought maybe what I would do is again start doing like more tobacco things. Because I have a ton of tobacco flavors, and I know a lot of people don't like tobacco flavors. And I was one of them for the longest time. But what you realize if you actually try these different tobaccos is they don't taste like what you would necessarily think they would. Like a lot of people are afraid that if they vape tobacco, it'll make them want to smoke again. Honestly, they're really nothing alike. There's a couple of flavors that kind of are similar to like when you used to smoke, but for the most part, they have an entirely different type of flavor. It's hard to describe what it is. It's more like woody or sometimes earthy, which I know doesn't sound appealing necessarily, but they can be really enjoyable. So I think I might try to do that route because I have a ton of tobacco flavors I've never even tried. Because pretty much like, you know, anytime we would do like a mix, because really the only time I mixed flavors for the most part was for mix and mixins. So I'm mixing for whatever profile is that week, and it was rarely ever something that could be tobacco. So it was mainly like fruits, desserts type stuff. So yeah, I have a ton of tobacco flavors. So maybe I do that. I've been trying to do more dessert type things just to try to get me off of like fruits, because it seems like fruits are the things that I don't taste. So I was like, well, if I try to just do desserts or something that I typically don't, you know, vape, then maybe, you know, that'll go better. But the problem is like I vaped fruits for a reason. Like I like those. I don't really care for a lot of desserts and other types of stuff like that. So trying to find something that I actually enjoy to vape that's outside of my wheelhouse, I'm finding pretty challenging. Right now, like, I'm vaping a mint, but it's a mint I like, so, and I could also do that, like, it's gonna be, like, winter soon, like, a lot of pepperminty type stuff, so maybe I'll do something like that, but I'm thinking of more so basically going, like, recipe related instead of single flavor testing related, because to be honest, unless it's like for a new launch or something from someone like Flavora or Winter Flavors, I don't tend to single flavor test too much anymore. It's just time consuming. It's wasteful because I never end up, you know, finishing my little tester things. So I don't know. I don't get much from it. And with all, like I said, my tasting issues, it's not even beneficial for other people anymore. So it's just, I don't know. Not much positives in doing it that way. I'm just looking at chat. I hate this top chat versus live chat thing. I don't even know why it's a thing. But like I select live chat before I pop the window out, which I know is bad. You're supposed to pop it out and then change it. So the whole time it's been on top chat. I don't think I've missed anything anyway, but annoying. yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to talk about right now. I don't want to be on here too long, but I figured it was Halloween. I'm supposed to be like a zombie. I don't even know. Like, I just look dirty. So it's like, maybe a fail there, but, yeah. It reminds me of like those cartoons like back in the day where they would put ink or something in the like binoculars and the other character would pick it up and like look through it and then it would leave the ring around the eye. That's kind of like what I'm giving, or like coal miner. I don't think zombie is it, but it is what it is. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't even remember the last time I did a video. I know it was the pumpkin roll. Oh, I think I put it in the comments section, but the pumpkin roll actually didn't end up being horrible. After it steeped a few days, the abundance of like that cream cheese note calmed down a bit. I still probably wouldn't add the cream cheese. Like it was a little bit too much cream cheese in it. But it ended up being good. I just needed to steep. Let me see if I can find the recipe for that. Oh my god. So I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but I watched Dune yesterday because my dad wanted to watch it and he didn't want to watch it alone. Well, number one, I didn't like it. It was one of those movies I was struggling just to like continue watching it. I just wasn't involved or invested at all. And that sometimes can be because I just don't feel like watching a movie. If I'm in a mood where I just don't want to watch something, sometimes that'll happen. So I'm not sure if it was that or if it was the movie itself. I want to say it was the movie itself because it's very weird. If you don't know what it is, it's like a sci-fi thing. I'm not going to get into anything because like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a sci-fi movie. And it's very weird. So yeah, I watched that last night. Was not impressed. I watched Squid Games because I kept seeing it everywhere, and it was actually pretty good. It was a little weird, but not in like a bad way. Cause like I don't mind a little weird. Obviously, I'm weird, but there's like levels of weird. Like there's weird that's like, oh, that's interesting and cool, and then there's weird that's like, what am I watching? Kind of weird. And that was Dune for me. Dune was just so yeah, Squid Games I thought was good. And it was an interesting concept. I also was watching, I need to finish because I have like a couple episodes left. What is it called? Craps. I'm gonna have to look it up. It was on, I think, Amazon Prime Video. But there was like an American version and a British version. And I wish I would have known that the American version never had the second season to finish it, because I would have just watched the British version that was actually completed and not bothered with the American version. Because apparently they had a first season and it didn't go very well or whatever, and they never actually finished it. Like, I don't like watching series that there's no completion for. I'll have to look it up what it is. And then I finished watching You. It's just YOU. It's on Netflix. It's about this guy who is like a stalker. And I know it's like a weird thing. It's a very weird series in that it's literally just about this guy that obsesses over women, incorporates himself into their lives, and then usually ends up killing them in some way or another. But he's like a stalker. It's like literally the whole series. He's just a stalker. But I don't know. There was something about it that was interesting enough to watch, the whole series. Let me look up that other. But the U one, the YOU, is from Netflix. I'll have to look up that other movie, or series rather. You, I don't know how many people would honestly like it, to be honest. How many times can I say honestly? Oh, crap, I hope I can figure it out. It's like I literally can't think of it. I found it because I was watching YouTube. And it was like just like this rabbit hole, and I fell onto this review, or it was like a kind of like an advertisement for the show, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks pretty interesting. So then I watched it. Plus it was on Amazon Video, so I was like, oh, it's free, so why not? Because I was kind of stagnant as far as, oh, it's called Utopia. So I highly recommend watching Utopia, but you might as well just watch the British version, because the American version, I don't honestly think is any better, and it also, there's no second part to it. So if you want to actually watch like the completion of the story, you might as well just watch the British one, because the British one is actually finished. And I feel like you get a little bit more of a story with the British one. But Utopia is actually good. It's like action sci-fi. If you want to know what... I mean, it's not like super sci-fi. It's more action than anything else. What else? I watch a lot of YouTube. That's mainly what I watch. Probably stuff you guys would not be interested in. Makeup related things. I do watch some paranormal things. I found a channel recently called Darkness Prevails. He does a lot of... he's a narrator basically, and he just reads other people's stories about whatever it is. Like, for example, he has one about alien sightings and encounters, and he just reads you people's experiences with those things. So I've been listening to him pretty frequently, especially when I'm at work, because I don't have to watch it. It's just, verbal. That's about it as far as anything you guys would be interested in. And then I fall under rabbit holes every now and then, or into rabbit holes every now and then about random stuff. Oh, you're talking about Dune? Yeah, I could definitely see where the first, like, the Dune movie I watched was definitely, like, giving you, like, a base for the story to build upon. Like, I get that, but I just didn't find it very interesting. Like, it was just a lot going on at one time, and I don't know, it was weird. I would definitely probably give the second movie comes out a chance, but like my dad's like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie, and I'm like, I don't think I want to rewatch it. You'll be doing that on your own. I ain't doing it. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys have any suggestions, I guess, on things that you would like to see that isn't single flavor testing related, and if it is paranormal related, if you could give like a specific example, because I've done a lot of paranormal videos at some point, so I feel like I've covered most of like the big things. And mainly a lot of the things that I enjoy talking about are things that I've actually had experiences with, because I don't know, I can give you a first account telling of whatever it is, Whereas these other random things, I can't. Like, I'm going based upon what other people have said, and, you know, people lie. The Expanse, I have not. Yeah, I like sci-fi. I like drama. Like, not super sad movies. I don't really generally like to be sad. I like rom-coms. I do like those. But sci-fi is probably like number one for me. I do like scary movies. If you have any scary movie recommendations, because I do want to watch a scary one tonight because it is Halloween. Problem is, a lot of the movies aren't very scary in my opinion. But anyway, stay safe, everyone. Have a happy Halloween if you care that it's Halloween. That's about it. Bye.